The person, be it gentleman or lady, who has not pleasure in a good novel must be intolerably stupid. The more I know of the world, the more I am convinced that I shall never see a man whom I can really love. I require so much. I cannot fix on the hour, or the spot, or the look, or the words which laid the foundation. It is too long ago. I was in the middle before I knew that I had begun. In vain have I struggled. It will not do. My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you. You pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. I have loved none but you. If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. Friendship is certainly the finest balm for the pangs of disappointed love. I have not the pleasure of understanding you. There are people who, the more you do for them, the less they will do for themselves. I am quite enough in love. I should be sorry to be any more. Do not deceive yourself. Do not be run away with by gratitude and compassion. Of all horrid things, leave-taking is the worst. No, thank you for thinking I am thoughtful. You pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. I have loved none but you. Angry people are not always wise. I declare after all there is no enjoyment like reading. How much sooner one tires of anything than of a book. When I have a house of my own, I shall be miserable if I have not an excellent library. Which of all my important nothings shall I tell you first? Were I to fall in love indeed, it would be a different thing. But I have never been in love. It is not my way or my nature, and I do not think I ever shall. Men of sense, whatever you may choose to say, do not want silly wives. I lay it down as a general rule, Harriet, that if a woman doubts as to whether she should accept a man or not, she certainly ought to refuse him. She was one of those who, having once begun, would be always in love. Indeed, I am very sorry to be right in this instance. I would much rather have been merry than wise. She is tolerable but not handsome enough to tempt me, and I am in no humor at present to give consequence to young ladies who are slighted by other men. No, thank you for thinking I am thoughtful. Laugh as much as you choose, but you will not laugh me out of my opinion. I could easily forgive his pride if he had not mortified mine. It is not everyone, said Eleanor, who has your passion for dead leaves. A woman, especially if she have the misfortune of knowing anything, should conceal it as well as she can. Vanity working on a weak head produces every sort of mischief. Mr. Knightley, if I have not spoken, it is because I am afraid I will awaken myself from this dream. You must be the best judge of your own happiness. Silly things do cease to be silly if they are done by sensible people in an impudent way. There is nothing I would not do for those who are really my friends. I have no notion of loving people by halves. It is not my nature. How quick come the reasons for approving what we like. You are too generous to trifle with me. If your feelings are still what they were last April, tell me so at once. My affections and wishes are unchanged, but one word from you will silence me on this subject forever. One half of the world cannot understand the pleasures of the other. Ah, there is nothing like staying at home for real comfort. It isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do. Laugh as much as you choose, but you will not laugh me out of my opinion. The very first moment I beheld him, my heart was irrevocably gone. Friendship is certainly the finest balm for the pangs of disappointed love. A lady's imagination is very rapid. It jumps from admiration to love, from love to matrimony in a moment. Do not deceive yourself. Do not be run away with by gratitude and compassion. It's such a happiness when good people get together. Why not seize the pleasure at once? How often is happiness destroyed by preparation? Foolish preparation. Business, you know, may bring money, but friendship hardly ever does. I hate to hear you talk about all women as if they were fine ladies instead of rational creatures. None of us want to be in calm waters all our lives. Blessed with so many resources within myself, The world was not necessary to me. I could do very well without it. The hair was curled, and the maid sent away, and Emma sat down to think and be miserable. Upon my word, Emma, to hear you abusing the reason you have is almost enough to make me think so too. Better be without sense than misapply it as you do. What a blessing it is when undue influence does not survive the grave. Where there is a wish to please, one ought to overlook, and one does overlook a great deal. She could not be complying. She dreaded being quarrelsome. Her heroism reached only to silence. There was no being displeased with such an encourager, for his admiration made him discern a likeness before it was possible. It was foolish, it was wrong, to take so active a part in bringing any two people together. I have observed, Mrs. Elton, in the course of my life, that if things are going outwardly one month, they are sure to mend the next. It darted through her with the speed of an arrow that Mr. Knightley must marry no one but herself. That is the case with us all, Papa. One half of the world cannot understand the pleasures of the other. Respect for right conduct is felt by everybody. His feelings are warm, but I can imagine them rather changeable. You must be the best judge of your own happiness. If you prefer Mr. Martin to every other person, if you think him the most agreeable man you have ever been in company with, why should you hesitate? I do not find myself making any use of the word sacrifice. Do not deceive yourself. Do not be run away with by gratitude and compassion. It is a most repulsive quality, indeed, said he, oftentimes very convenient, no doubt, but never pleasing. There is safety in reserve, but no attraction. One cannot love a reserved person, not till the reserve ceases towards oneself, and then the attraction may be the greater. What a blessing it is when undue influence does not survive the grave. Where there is a wish to please, one ought to overlook, and one does overlook a great deal. It was foolish, it was wrong, to take so active a part in bringing any two people together. When it comes to the question of dependence or independence, at any rate, it must be better to have only one to please than two. These are difficulties which you must settle for yourself. Choose your own degree of crossness. I shall press you no more, and I do envy him, Emma. In one respect he is the object of my envy. Time will generally lessen the interest of every attachment not within the daily circle. She was not much deceived as to her own skill either, as an artist or a musician, but she was not unwilling to have others deceived. I think it is the state of mind which gives most spirit and delight. The dread of being awakened from the happiest dream was perhaps the most prominent feeling